You know, I'm always happy to have an excuse to use Nier music in a video because honestly, Nier has just some of the best music, period, in a lot of games. I don't think it's better than Final Fantasy music, but it is a talking point. Hey, how you guys doing, Globalers? It is time for another week, and don't be too jealous that the JP side is getting FF7 this week, because you guys are getting your own collaboration. And honestly, I think I've talked about, all the collaborations and future content, and you guys know what's coming. You know that you have the choice between King Mont, Rule, and Earth Elemental Mage, what else? Oh my god, you have like Black Witch Helena, you have like a lot of stuff, and all those EX 120s that are coming in the future. But first, you have to get through Nier, and honestly, I have some thoughts now. Obviously, with FF7 coming, now being announced and on Globalers' future horizons, I do think that it is worth reevaluating certain characters. For instance, Lord Mont doesn't really have good synergy with most of the characters because there isn't really anything interesting going on with fire at the moment. Taking a look at Rule, an Earth Elemental Mage, I think is incredibly interesting for the future now because she hard counters Cloud if Charlotte is not there, which is a big amount of, stonks for her, where her stock has gone up considerable in my mind. Black Witch Helena is just good, period. And, Belric recently on the JP side, for example. And I know I've forgotten about some other things, Warrior of Lights 120 and all of that. But there is just so many good options into the future about all of these characters. And not to just talk about that, let's talk about the Nier unit. So first of all, yes, 9S will be the first one will be free for all players. So you just log into the game while the event's live, you do whatever you need to, and you end up getting the first copy of 9S. So with that being said, I am going to take a look at 2B because I think that she has some interesting properties into the future, and so does 9S, but let's get into 2B first. First of all, she has an original job, Yora, number 2, Type B, sub-job Samurai, sub-job Pugilist. Sometimes I switch between tertiary and... I like tertiary because it sounds really nice, but sub just tickles me pink. Anyway, 80 cost unit, she's not a double cost unit, she is a limited time unit, and she is the wind element. Now, obviously, there is a really... I think an absolutely massive talking point is the fact that Pugilist / Fighter is her tertiary job, and that does give her strike abilities, which pairs incredibly well with Tifa. As we've recently found out today, Tifa's vision card is evasion up, which goes incredibly well with 2B. As a matter of fact, 2B and Tifa are going to be best friends as far as I can tell with that vision card. Basically, strike attack up as well as potentially attack up as well as just wind element advantage. Yeah, it's going to work incredibly well. So I think that 2B has a lot of future stock in a wind elemental team with Tifa as well as other wind elemental characters. And, wind already has a pretty good healer with Ayaka, so there is a good mono element team shaping up there. There are some vision cards that also benefit wind elemental characters, so yeah, I think that's really nice. But taking a look at what is also interesting about 2B here, she is primarily an more evasion type character that has good slash elemental stuff, or slash damage and slash elemental. You look at Impaler, which has piercing, lowers slash and strike attack for 3 turns to the target and deals large damage. You have her Yora Annihilation Dance, which raises own slash resistance, piercing rate for 3 turns and deals large damage. Armor Deployment bestows a barrier on self that reduces damage for 3 turns, and she actually has a support ability that for the first 5 turns of battle, whenever she does damage, she absorbs some of that damage, and it's on any attack, which is pretty interesting going forward. As a matter of fact, 2B is one of those characters that I ended up getting that I was not overly super happy about. It was one of those things where I got a premium gacha character and I was like, well, the barracks exists, I can probably raise 9S over a long period of time, so let's focus more on 2B. And as it turns out, I feel like 9S kind of outperformed her for a bit, and still kind of outperforms her overall, just because of the way his general kit works and the synergy it has with Thunder Elemental stuff. It can be absolutely deadly to go up against an entire Thunder Elemental team, especially if you consider the fact that Orlando's probably going to get a 120 and Cloud's coming to the game. Thunder is a dangerous element to go up against. So yeah, 9S I still think has super big stock here, but I would say that 2B, my impression of 2B has improved as well. Taking a look at her 120 kit, there's just some good, nice stuff here. I think she overall boasts an incredibly nice stat. I know her bravery's not maxed. Has to do with just some auto farming and some unfortunate not so luckiness with the evasion. Like I said, a Tifa card. I really need it to show up at, you know, Wednesday kind of thing. But anyway. And taking a look at her skills, the big one that she gets at 120 is a 165% modifier with a chance to inflict slow for 3 turns. And it is a direct ahead of her 3 panels attack. So it is pretty strong. Her 120 is good and has some nice upgrades for herself. Increasing the debuff on the ability, the Impaler that you see here. Not only, I mean, its mods stay basically the same, but it goes from decreasing it by 25 for slash and strike for 3 turns to 40 for 3 turns. So yeah, I do think that 2B is a really good unit. I think that she's slightly, like, I just give 9S that little bit better, that little bit advantage of just being, you know, in a better element overall and kind of having some nicer synergy with range stuff, so he can just do things really well and, you know, be very good in PvP. And I feel like evasion's still kind of a meme, but maybe with Tifa and that card, I think that I would give 2B a bigger recommendation now for globalers than I previously had. I certainly don't speak anything bad about her. I think overall I really like her kit. I just think that it wasn't quite enough. But, you know, that opinion might change very quickly to her being even better than I thought. Oh yes, and the other upgrade she gets is her Counterability, which counters all damage at a 50% chance, but it is right in front of her. That one I'm a little less excited about. Alright, and let's just continue on, and let's switch over to our other new unit to talk about, which is 9S. And 9S is a unit that, like I said, him and Titus, I think I've underestimated in terms of how good they were for a free copy unit. Because you think to yourself, why would they give one of the better units away? Overall, 9S just acts as a really nice support unit for an entire team, while also capable of just debuffing and dishing out a good amount of damage too. Taking a look at, you know, what is announced here, I mean, neutral hacking is the big one. Raises own defense, piercing rate for 3 turns, and then deals lightning damage large. Again, there are a good amount of thunder units that he can pair off of. Hacking as well is an incredibly great ability. Deals lightning damage to the target, large, lowers attack and magic for 3 turns. And shield deployment is just a really good at the start of battle buff, and even later on in battle buff. It raises defense and spirit of allies within range, making them much more tanky to ensure that they don't end up getting damaged. He still has really good agility. He still has really good attack. Counters can give himself some extra physical evasion. Taking a look at what he gets in his 120. The buff for allies, the defense and spirit buff, not only does is it just really good, but by increasing them each by 15 for 3 turns, but also grants protect at a 25% reduced physical damage for 3 turns to himself. So he even gets a little bit of a bonus going upgrade into 120. His ability activation also gets an upgrade So not only is it a 165 modifier with an ability activation, also decreases agility by 20% for 3 turns to target. So, you know, he has lots of debuffs in his kit, lots of buffs in his kit. Primary part of his job is just really good, and that's even before we get into the fact that he has Nightblade as a subpart, which does offer some, you know, pretty good stuff for anybody who knows about Nightblade. He does have a chance to stun off of it, he can absorb AP, he can dish out damage, and of course, he has the 3-hitter that absorbs 30% of damage done. And keep in mind, into the future, Cloud is coming to the game. He has a 3-hit chaining ability. 9S has a 3-hit chaining ability. Yeah. Given the future with Charlotte and this guy and Cloud, I don't even know if it's worth talking about the other good Thunder units because you just have so much good stuff here. This is a collaboration that I think is one of those things where you have just a problem of globalers have a problem of a benefit of knowledge, in my opinion, where they have to consider the fact that FF7 is coming, and both of these characters pair with an incredibly good character in the future. The only question at this point for globalers still is, and well, I guess JPers as well, is just how good is Cloud going to synergize with 9S, given that he has an AP generation off criticals, and guess what? There's a weapon that you can farm for 9S that is a pretty nice little spear that can, I do believe, have a critical version on of it. You know, it's just really, really good. So, yeah, both 9S and 2B, I think, as of Wednesday, are going to be an even more indication. Like, you may want to pop by an early JP stream, shameless self-promotion, to find out how good Cloud and Tifa actually are, since both of them, I think, are going to pair really well with both of the Nier units. And that is a problem, because I'm sure that a lot of globalers who were interested on potentially taking this off and saving for some of F7 characters. But if you're interested in building Tifa, 2B should be a consideration. I really do think so. They pair incredibly well. They both have strike capabilities, evasion capabilities, and both of them just seem to benefit off of the FF7 remake card. So for strike units, so that's a big check mark in that category. Whereas 9S is, as a lot of JP players will attest, just an insanely good unit that you should not underestimate getting to a level 120. He is a easy to get unit that you can just throw Lapis at to get to 120 and be happy with what he can do. He can support a lot of different unit types. So yeah, I do think that both of these units can only go up in value after seeing the FF7 stuff that we don't know. Alright, there's also going to be a Nier Vision card as well. Luck up, Spirit up, critical damage up for Wind-type units. Wind-type units will also get a bestowed effective attack up, and a bonus for 2B will be a slash attack resistance rate up, or slash attack resistance piercing rate up, and agility up. The Nier Vision card will also pair well with Tifa into the future, so getting that Vision card might just be really good for, like, again, if you're really in on Wind Element, that card, and I think you're spoken for on this. Alright, and last but not least, I guess we should talk a little bit about the weapons that you can farm, as since with a collaboration event, there will be a way to farm both characters' weapons for this, which I actually really do like, that they're not only giving a Vision card for 2B, but they're also giving a, you know, a nice new weapon, and here it is. I actually do, for once, have a +5 version of it. So this is an assault type. You can see here 192 attack. It does have some increases on it. If I can just find 1 second. It is a katana, and I do believe I just need to pull. Most of the katanas look the exact same to me. I think I got the right one. Yeah, so increase slash attack by a total of 10, and increase pierce attack by 10. Pairs incredibly well. From what I remember, this was also a really easy weapon to get and max out, so I don't think that you got to worry too much about getting this one. Critical might be worth mentioning if you are interested in Cloud and you also want to pair 2B with Cloud. Then you might want to get the critical version instead, but the Assault does boast an incredibly nice high stat, which I think is good for 2B. Because I do think that 2B is just generally pretty good already with what she's got. And yeah, the Spear is +5 version of that. Does have an increased lightning attack by 30 and an increase attack, or increase lightning attack by herself by 15. So yeah, it is just a really strong spear. There's no way about it. You should definitely make at least one of these. And for any, so excuse me, I'm just going to try and sum up this very quickly. If you are at all interested in Cloud, I think that 2B is a minor consideration, not incredibly important. You're probably going to much rather go and just maxing out 9S as well as Charlotte when she comes out as well. If you are looking into Tifa, then I think 2B is pretty mandatory because he just pairs incredibly well on paper from what I know so far. But if you want to hold off on like completely going all in, definitely check out my live stream on Wednesday, as I'll have a much better idea of exactly where Tifa stands and exactly what her kit and capabilities are useful or are looking like at that point. So yeah, but I do think that both the Vision card and 2B herself will be really important for if you're really wanting a strong wind elemental team and really getting the most out of Tifa in the future, who is a free unit. So it kind of works this way, you know, where if you get 9S, he's free now, and then you have to worry about getting Cloud later, and then if you want Tifa later, who's free later, well, you kind of got to worry about getting 2B now. I don't know. Maybe hedge your bets, see if you get a little bit lucky with 2B, and if not, maybe Cloud is the way to go. Don't know. Anyway, so stuff to think about for you globalers. This one was definitely a longer video, but I think there's more of an importance on this event than some globalers might think. There is just good synergy looking into the future because 9S is just kind of really good in any party, but I think that 2B has definitely my evaluation of 2B in this game has definitely gone up because I can see some really good potential with Tifa. So anyway, let me know what you think. Are you going for any of the Nier stuff? If nothing else, farm those weapons because you need those coins, get the stuff. Keep going. So anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and see you next time.